Alrighty, so hello, Yao. How are you
Hey
doing today?
Mariah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm
Yeah,
a little nervous, but excited. How are you?
I'm good. I can see the excitement, maybe jitters. So I can't
Uh,
wait to put you in the hot seat, and you
uh,
get to put me in the hot seat too. That's what's so fun about these
yes.
episodes. Um,
Oh, you
okay,
better be
so
prepared. I hope you're still in ice
I,
block. It's gonna get
I'm
toasty.
I should have known what I was getting into. I am prepared. So I've
Uh,
come prepared, I feel like, as
okay, yeah,
much as I can be. So I hope you are too.
yes, yeah.
No, all jokes aside, I have pretty like interesting topics for us to talk about on this
Mm,
episode.
okay.
But first, I don't think we've ever really sat down. This is a softball starter question. So it's more
Uh-huh.
just getting like your take because you've joined us for some of the like interview guest episodes, Thread Wallets, and recently Dossier Perfumes. So give me
Yeah,
your
yeah.
take. How are you liking the podcast world when you get to come and join us over here?
Yeah, it's awesome. I love talking with people in the ecosystem because you like it's easy to kind of live in a bubble like when you're working on your own thing and just to like put
Mm-hmm.
your head above the ground and like hear what other people are working on and how they're approaching stuff. It's been a lot of fun. I think the stories are really interesting and compelling too. Like when we talked with Dossier, it was cool to hear, all the things that they went into, like the hump of how you get people from like, hey, you typically go to a store to buy fragrance and like you
Mm-hmm.
try everything, you smell everything, to like how they have to like overcome that from a digital perspective. So it's been a lot of fun to like sit down and chat with folks and hear their stories and not be the one on this side of the table, like having to get grilled with questions. Always fun to grill other people.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you had a little bit of that with
I
this
did,
kind of
yeah, yeah,
episode. Yeah. And
yes.
try and give you the room to do so. But I agree. Okay. So my other thing that I've seen just from like working in the podcast world is there's some people who are very much like planners, want to know down to the T of
Mm,
like, these are the things we're going to discuss. These are like topics 1 through 5. And then
yeah.
there are some people who are like, do not tell me. I don't want to know. I'll overthink it or I just don't care. And they're like, I literally, I'm just going to get on the call and start chatting. What would you say? Which camp do you reside in? Or
Oh
like planner
man.
versus non-planner? Which do you prefer?
Okay, so I'm the I'm the biggest procrastinator. And so like I wait till the last minute. So like I usually am better with like surprises, just like throw me in the ring and like let me figure it out. But when it comes to like podcasts, I actually love to prepare. I love getting the questions
Interesting.
beforehand. Yeah. I yeah, I so like anytime I give a, for example, anytime like I give a presentation, like I type out my entire script and then I rehearse it like over and over and over again. Um,
Whoa. Okay.
and
That's a lot
so,
of
but
work.
like it's
You give a
it is a
lot of
lot of work.
presentations.
It's it's a lot of work. Oh, it's a lot of work.
Okay.
But yeah. So it depends. Like for this stuff, I'm usually like questions are I feel a sense of ease when I get questions beforehand. So you're putting me on the spot, Mariah.
I was gonna say you don't have questions
I have zero
beforehand
questions
for
ahead
this
of time.
episode.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Wait, for okay, this is more
Um,
just I personally have to know this now. Like for team meetings,
yeah.
do that too? Like type out a script and like rehearse them, or
For
those
like town hall and stuff,
yes,
like
yeah.
our internal like town hall or
Uh-huh.
a lot of times I do. Yeah, a lot of times I'll
Wow.
type out a script and like does it not look like that?
No, I'd say you do a good job.
I'm giving away my secrets. Now the team's gonna be
But I
like,
feel
oh,
like
I
me
know.
telling you that you can't tell is going to keep you motivated to keep doing that then.
So here's the trick. Here's the trick. If there's like a really important point where I'm trying to make, and like the way in which it's delivered matters a lot, like I definitely have to type things out.
Yeah.
But I will often throw in a lot of ad lib, like
Okay.
throughout. So maybe that's where the balance is at.
Okay. I feel like that is probably, yeah, I think most people like just knowing the levity of searching of a
Yeah,
certain thing that you want to get across. I feel like most people have to at least think it through. Like even if you don't
yeah,
read off of like a script or something, you at least have to think through like how am I going to say this? So I think most
yeah,
people
yeah.
would relate to that. Um,
Yes.
But it is
Yeah.
interesting because I myself, I feel like unless it's something that I don't know what I would say directly or like right away, I'd like to know, like have some
Yeah.
sense. Like but as long as I have kind of like a general idea of what we're going to be going over, I feel like I know where to take it if I especially if I've already spoken to that thing. So like if
Mm.
someone is like asking me about like a topic I've spoken about before, then I'm like, oh, just throw me in the ring. But if it's like something that I don't think on the spot, I'll know exactly how to respond to. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
I'd prefer the questions. But
Yes. Yeah.
it's
I
an
hear
interesting
you.
thing though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially sitting in this seat where it's like my job where I'm like, okay, sending questions versus not. Like
Yeah.
every person's different. So just play on the safe side and send like general topics, but we still keep people on their toes.
On their
Pretty
toes.
much, I
Yeah.
think. So it's like a happy medium, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but some people like I've interviewed and they're just like, I don't even want questions. And I'm like, okay, we can do that.
Just show up day of. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And I'm like, by all means, if you don't want to read the questions that like the brief topics where it's literally just like, okay, this one idea, and then we spin it off into a 15-minute conversation, like you don't have to read them, but they're there if you want them. So
Yeah, I feel like that leads to so much like more authentic conversations too. It's
yeah, exactly.
like the person, yeah, they're not prepping for anything in particular.
Yeah.
They're talking off their cuff and probably get some better like insights from those people too. But
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, they're more
yeah.
concentrated in the moment. But it is
Mm.
interesting that you are a procrastinator but like to really prep when it comes down to time. So,
It is, yeah. I feel like because I got so bad with procrastination, like when I was younger, like I was like, this just has to stop. Like I gotta get myself together. And so I've made it my mission to just be more prepared. And
mm.
maybe I like overdid it a little bit.
Oh, that's funny. Oh my
Uh,
gosh. That's good.
yeah.
Okay, that was a good like little opinion piece.
Yeah.
Now things that we talk about, like even while I was telling you about this podcast beforehand, is like a lot of the times social media and like the news will come up. And so I was reading this article on Marketing Dive, and
Mm.
the like premise of it basically was that Google is feeling the effects of TikTok, which I think
Mm.
is really interesting because I think a
Yeah.
lot of the times TikTok is seen as like this Gen Z platform and it's kind of written off sometimes because of like how informal or how young it is. But for like Google to be sweating a little bit is interesting.
So
So
what's can I ask you one question quick?
yeah.
Like what about TikTok is making them sweat? Like what? Because like it's Google search engine, I wouldn't put any like I wouldn't make the connection at all to like how some social media platform would make them
Yeah.
nervous.
Yes. So in the search engine um side of things. So a lot of people, if they're looking for like recommendations, they'll go to TikTok now because they can like
Oh,
see the visual aid of it, see all of these people making videos about it. Cause like that's a whole side of TikTok where it's like, oh, you could probably find like any and as long as it isn't super niche, you could probably find any product that's been reviewed. It might have like 10 views, but someone's reviewed it, and it's
yeah.
way more entertaining and trustworthy to like see the person who's reviewing it than like see the little stars on a page. So that's where TikTok now has like a lot of organic energy behind it of like the algorithm's scary good, I'll admit,
Yeah.
scary about how good it
Mhm.
is at knowing, the user and what they want to see. But it's that aspect of Google. And I pulled a couple of quotes that I think is getting under their skin because like Gen Z. So this goes into a quote, but um an analyst, so Noam Doros, analyst at Garner, said that like it's no secret, this is a direct quote, it's no secret that TikTok is Gen Z's preferred search platform for all things ranging from food to beauty products to clothing. So Google understands what drives consumers to platforms like TikTok and evolves accordingly, hence this advance towards the more natural, intuitive exploration with multimedia search. So that's what Google is looking
Mm,
into for like video search optimization. So it's like
yeah.
text. And so that's what like an outside party said. And then the senior VP at Google said, like, already searching with text is indispensable. Now the age of visual search is here. A camera isn't just a content creation device, it's a powerful way to access information and understand the world around you. So that's where TikTok, because they have like their tags and their hashtags and all the different categories that you can search, they're getting a lot of traffic to their platform, and like people are buying from TikTok instead of buying from Google. So
Yeah.
super interesting.
That is very interesting.
Right?
I have many questions.
Go ahead,
So
fire them off.
so my first question, this is gonna like date me. I've never used TikTok. Like
Have you
I've
seen at
not
least like a
downloaded the app.
video?
I've seen, yes,
Have
I've
you?
seen many,
Okay. Okay, good.
yes. What are they called? Talks? What are the videos
You
called?
can
Do they
just,
got
it's TikToks. If you, yeah, if you
TikTok?
want to say talk, sure. I don't think many use that, but you can be
Uh,
the starting the starting person to say talks.
so so it makes a ton of sense. But I never would have thought in that context. So like you tell me you're a pretty big TikTok user.
Yeah.
Like so do you use it in that way? Like do you search when you're like, I gotta I know I'm buying something, I want to buy a new shirt or a new whatever it is.
Hmm.
Like your first thought is to go to TikTok to search for that thing? Or is it like I already have in my
Yeah.
mind like the thing that I'm buying and I'm going to see reviews or how people are using it? Maybe even both.
Yeah. So I would say a little bit of both. So it depends on like what, if I like really feel a need. So like something I bought recently was like pants. And so I knew I had an Amazon gift card. So I was like, okay, I have to spend this with something. And I was like, okay, I need more trousers that are like cute, that can be like work professional, but also can be like street casual. And so I was like, okay, knowing that in mind, I went right to TikTok because I've seen so many, they've just popped up on my feed like naturally, in that it's reviews, Amazon reviews of clothes. And so many, like Amazon hauls has its own hashtag, its own world, and because people
Yeah.
have storefronts. So like
Yeah.
people are influencers, whether they're most are micro, they have a whole storefront that they show you the picture, the review, they show it like, so they show you the picture of what it looks like on Amazon, they show you what it looks like on them, they show you like what they feel, what they think of it, all that good jazz. And then on their profile it links right to the item, so you don't have to like search for it, right? It's right at your
Yeah.
fingertips.
Yeah.
um and that, like, you can see parallels between people who like look like you, people who you follow, what the piece of clothing is going to look like on you, and then you don't have to go like searching through Amazon for it.
Mm,
um Now of
okay.
course like some of those people have affiliate links, and if they have a storefront they're getting some compensation for it, so just being aware of that. But even most of the time, like, I just screenshot it because I'm probably not going to do it right away, but like I'll just screenshot it and then save it for later and search it up on my own. And I found like
Wait,
really cute stuff.
you screenshot what? You
I
screenshot.
screenshot like the TikTok. So like I'll pause it on like the whatever the name is on Amazon, because like some stuff on Amazon is like
Oh,
hard to find, you know? So like
okay.
I'll pause it when they're showing, or I go to their storefront. Like it's like the buying page just to get the name. I'll screenshot that, save it for later, and then go buy it.
Okay,
Um,
gotcha.
yeah. And then so like also um a, a another side of TikTok is like beauty products, right? So it's like, oh, if you have like, and there's like tips and tricks too. Like curly hair, I it's a beast to maintain. So like I will go on and just see, like, people were like, oh, I tried this random technique out and it works really well for them. So it's like they're like life hacks. And then you can try that out. There's also like products that people recommend. So most of the time it's like I see something and I'm like, oh, that would be cool. And then I don't necessarily buy, like, I'm not one to, if I see it right away, if I don't need it right away, I won't buy it. Like I'll wait for an excuse to buy it. But I'll still like save it or screenshot it for later and be like, oh, that was a good technique. Like I should try that
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's super fascinating. So like
Yeah.
TikTok becomes more, it's like an unbiased source of like reviews and inspiration for products that you're looking for. That
Yeah,
feels more maybe more
exactly.
authentic or like more from like your network, so it's more trusted.
Yeah, it's more for it is more trusted. I mean, like, and sponsored things, like people have to put like sponsored, right, and like make you aware of that, or like advertisement or something. But it's more, I would say, like more authentic, um, more convenient because your page just offers you stuff, and so like if you watch it for longer, engage with the content, they'll keep TikTok will keep showing you those like similar videos, and then a big piece for me is that it's entertaining too. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what text like Google doesn't have. Whereas this like blurs the lines between, it's like, oh, it is entertaining. Like I want to see like the curly hair example. I want to see like how this person's hair looked 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago versus looks now when they started this new, product or new tip or new hack. So it's
yeah,
way more like, oh, it's you're getting a little screenshot in 15-30 seconds or a little time play, that you're like, oh, I can see that being me. Like, oh, I have very similar hair or like very similar interests as this other person that you don't get through text. So it's the
yeah,
video component that is where that's why a lot of like platforms are shifting towards videos, because it's like also entertaining. Like even if I'm not looking to change anything in my routine, I'm curious to see what other people are doing, because you never
hmm
know if you're going to actually add that to your routine.
yeah,
But it's like you're more knowledgeable, you have other ways that you could do it.
yeah, yep, for sure. That's super interesting.
Yeah, big
Sorry.
big no, I'm a big proponent of the power of
Yes,
TikTok. Like
yeah,
I'll be a strong advocate for it because like I see it every day.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
everyone I know is on the
yeah.
app or like isn't on the app and is seeing things on Instagram reels like 2 weeks later.
Oh,
So
interesting. Yeah, they're becoming
yeah.
a tastemaker. Um,
hmm
of sorts, yeah. That makes a lot more like so the segue makes a lot more sense as to why Google would be very, very nervous about that.
Yeah.
I remember I was reading an article too about like the like a growing, I don't know if you call it distrust in Google search, but like a movement to like a bunch of people who are basically power users on Reddit, which is like
Mm,
a pretty sizable but like underground community of people, I would say,
yeah.
have like started this movement of like no longer using like Google or search engines. They're just going to Reddit because like they felt like Google search results they're no longer relevant because like corporations can game the results.
Mm,
So like what Google set out to do with democratizing information and how it gets ranked and all that stuff, like when they started was like really new and novel and it worked really well. Because they weren't basically the central authority telling you what was important. Um, Now it's sort of like backfired on them. Where like Reddit's
yep.
like this community of people where you're getting like real responses. Like you ask a question, you're getting real people talking about those responses, and it's like this shift in maybe the shift in trust. So like I feel like the same things are happening with TikTok in that same way, where it's like I need to go search for something. I want to know what my peers are thinking, what they're talking about around this stuff. Like because I believe them more than I believe like some corporation telling me I should buy something.
Yeah, and there's no like there's Google as a brand, but like the figurehead isn't necessarily there, right? It's like this ominous
Yeah,
corporate, um like almost like it's like this presence, but you don't have a face to it. And so like on TikTok you obviously have that, but I think with Google it also just with the ability to like advertise, and like the minute you try to monetize stuff, like you were saying, like people are like, I don't know
Yeah.
if I trust you as much now, because
Yep.
there's this option where it's like, oh, you can override stuff based off money. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
where even like there's still ads and sponsorships on TikTok, but like my experience with it, when I like open up the app and there's either a video, like an ad video right then when you open it up, or you're scrolling and there's one in your feed, like the minute I see sponsored, I'm like, yeah, okay, and I scroll by it. Like that's where there's a fine line between it. And I think
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
some of it, where it's like people have cracked the code on Google Analytics and Google Ads, or at least have gotten close. Um, Whereas TikTok, the organic growth still hasn't been figured out, and neither has like the paid ads side as well. So it's people right now are not feeling those growing pains of like, I'm maybe TikTok in 10 years will be in the same place that Google's in right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But right now I think like there's still a lot of unlocked potential because no one has completely figured out the TikTok algorithm yet.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting.
I know. It's
Yeah.
good stuff, right? You'll
It'll be
have
fun to
to,
see
I
how this
know.
unfolds.
Yeah, yeah, I know. We'll have to keep tabs on it. But it is, there's so many different aspects of TikTok that are
Yeah.
in it. So
Yeah.
we'll have to chat more about
Now
it.
I
I know
gotta now
we're
I gotta go download the app. Like I
okay.
feel like I've been resisting. I've been resisting so hard on
I
doing it.
actually, so Yao, real quick, I like did a not a deep dive, but a little quick dive on our partners. There's like Shopify and Attentive are on TikTok.
Yeah.
Um, and a ton of brands, like our brands,
Yeah.
are on TikTok as well. So it's super interesting. Definitely support you getting a TikTok. And even if you don't, I have to be the first to tell you, I'm gonna try and rope you into some.
Oh, good luck.
So
Good luck.
I think you'll enjoy them. They're fun. I can assure you. I'll hold your hand through it and
Okay.
show
All
you how to
right. That
make
makes me
one.
feel better. Uh.
Okay. I'm gonna make the whole company be pro TikTok. It's my one lasting goal. But this is so fun. Thanks for joining. I know we
Yes.
had a little bit of a shorter episode today, but still really fun. And I hope you'll
Yeah.
come back and join
I
us
hope
for
to have you
these
back.
hot seats.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
always, always.
This is
Yeah, we'll have
fun.
to fill you in on more TikTok, Google escapades.
Sounds good.